Well, hello, everybody, and happy Pride Month to you too.
Yeah.
Are you prideful?
It doesn't mean I have to go down and walk around and look at rainbow
No.
crap.
No. So, actually, interesting story um, about that. Actually, let me do the opening bits here. This is Chubs Gone Wild,
Oh yeah,
episode
that's good.
448, recorded on June 13th, 2022. It is currently 83 degrees and sunny outside the Chubs Gone Wild remote studios, where it is 140 days until Halloween. 195. We are now down below 200 days until Christmas. And also 141 days until TJ Zombie Girl retires. Yay! As we were saying, happy Pride Month. So I was in the store, um, as I do on Sunday, and um, one of my favorite checkers at the store is like a little lesbian, and you can tell by the uh, uniform haircut and everything. Anyway, I when we were checking, I was checking out, and I was said that I was going to be taking some a little care package to one of my friends who was sick and not able to go to Pride today. And she said, "Oh, is that today?" She said, "I'm so out of the loop. I haven't been to Pride for 20 years because I just always think that the Pride is for the young people."
Yay! Me
And
too.
well, and I was thinking about that, and I'm like, well, yeah, I haven't been for like 10 years, but a lot of that is the walking around and the fact that it's usually in a heat wave and in a place where there's no trees and no half
Nowhere to
people
sit.
there anymore anyway, that type of thing. But I was thinking about it, and I'm like, that that's kind of, I mean, pride is for all of us. We're the ones that, they wouldn't have pride if it weren't for us, and we wouldn't have pride, the option of not going to pride, if it weren't for the generations before us who did like the heavy work. So I don't know. I just that statement kind of was like, no, and we don't have to go to pride to celebrate pride.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that Marsha P. Johnson will give you a pass on not having to go to Pride.
Right. I would certainly think so. She would say something like, "As long as you got pride in your heart and a brick in your purse, you good, girl." That's what I think she would say.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is we don't have to um, make a statement anymore. We just have to enjoy the afternoon.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. The whole fight was to be who we are, however we choose. And if we choose that we don't go to the pride events, we just support it at home and post half naked men on Facebook, that's okay.
It is.
Yeah. Anyway, we'd like to remind you about Patreon, which offers folks a way to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcasts, videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons, Clint, Nephi, Nick, DJ Sausage, from the Universe, Eric, Sean, Brother Sanitas, Charles, Phoenix Dave, Kingsley, and Moose P. Please visit patreon.com/Matt Burlingame and find out how you can become a supporter of the show and my other little projects for as little as $1 a month.
Wait, you got the new glasses already?
No, actually, so what happened was,
Oh, I can see that.
I spent over $100 to get the new glasses, and when they arrived, they were all blurry and I couldn't see shiz. Well, it turns out that the little plus and minus on the prescription got screwed up. So instead of it being a plus, it was a minus, and I couldn't see anything. So I had to send them back. So I have to go through the whole thing. Now they will, for free, fix them. So that's all good. But in the meantime, I'm still with my old glasses, and I have a big old piece of tape. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, no, not yesterday, the day before, I was putting my glasses on, and of course, the same arm broke off of mine. And so I quickly threw them in the trash can because, well, they're just, I paid like $3 for them. So, but it's just like, is my head now that fat that I can't support glasses? This is what I'm thinking.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
Actually, the ones that I ordered, I didn't care for the frames that much, but of course, Clint was like, you have to keep those frames. They're very Avenger. I'm really feeling them. I love them. Of course, I'm looking at them like, I don't know. And he's all like, no, they're great. Of course, he wears like orange shoes and stuff. So he wears tie-dye Crocs. So I'm not sure I should listen to him, but I did. Anyway, but the arms on the new ones have the little like extra flex to them.
Yeah.
So no,
So did
so
these.
it goes around my fat head.
Yeah, mine did too, and they popped off.
Oh, well, you're fine. You're
Yeah.
fine, honey. Anyway, well, let's see. Today in history, June 13th, 1966, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down the decision, Miranda versus Arizona, establishing the principle that all criminal suspects must be advised of their rights before interrogation. Now, considered standard police procedure, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you can say can and will be held against you in a court of law. And you have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, well, that'll just have to be appointed to you. Anyway, it has been heard so many times on television and film dramas now that it can be considered almost cliche. But 1966.
Well, I know somebody who actually got off of their charges because they were never read their Miranda rights.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. See, I would just think that it was so, that's what you do. I don't know. Well, hopefully it was a good thing.
It was. Wasn't me.
Okay, that was my next question, but anyway. All right, well, let's see if we accidentally celebrated any holidays today. Ain't many. Today is the National Kitchen Klutzes Day of America.
Kitchen clutch?
Klutzes, like you're klutzy, you drop things, you knock things over.
Well,
I'll probably be doing that later.
Actually, Sean may have done that. He texted me from work going, when did I burn myself last night? And I made dinner and he did not cook anything as far as I know. So, but he goes into the kitchen. Sometimes I never know what he's doing. So, but I looked and nothing was out of place that I thought. I mean, like sometimes I'll find mounds of cheese in the refrigerator door and on the floor in front of it where he's eating cheese out of the bag.
Okay, yeah.
Or I have a situation where I went to look for some leftover chicken and it was not in the box anymore, but all the leftover bones were in the door. So he was sneaking food. And sometimes he does it late night. And he's not even on Ambien.
Okay. I was gonna say, is he like really drunk or? Yeah. Also, today is Random Acts of Light Day. I don't know. I guess you shine a flashlight in someone's face. Sewing machines, weed in your garden. I'm not sure if they're talking about your kind of weed, but yeah. And also World Softball Day. Not sure what that means. You have softballs, don't you?
Well, one.
Okay. See, well, it is softball day, so
I think that's more for our lesbian sisters.
Oh, why couldn't they play hardball?
I don't know.
Oh, so here's a question for you. Okay. Interrupt our routine here. So there was a TikToker who said who was giving LGBTQ queer history lessons, and his little history lesson for a day last week during Pride was how the LGBT came, and it was decided that gay men, because of the HIV and AIDS crisis, that the lesbians were the only, like came to our rescue and nursed us and helped us, which is all true, right? Lesbians were fucking there for gay guys with HIV and AIDS back in the day. So the gay men decided to put the L first in LGBT as a way of thanking lesbians for being there for us. And I'm like remembering back, because I remember back when it was just gay and lesbian. I don't remember this meeting. I don't remember being into this meeting. I don't remember ever being in any of the newspapers or anything else. I just remember lesbians and gays being pissed off and bitchy with one another all the time. And then suddenly the L's took over. Do you remember any meeting?
Yeah, I went to it.
Oh, okay. And they had this check the box if you want the L's to come first because of all the things they did for the G's.
See, I always heard it was because at every pride parade, the lesbians, dykes on bikes were always in the front of the parade. And
see, now that's interesting. I just thought it was because, the lesbians came in and they were like, we're coming first. And we were all like, oh, God, pissed off lesbians, whatever, do whatever. I don't care.
Oh my God, you need to stop with your
my
negative lesbian.
I love lesbians. I love lesbians. But seriously, I was just like, dude, where the fuck are you getting your whitewashed information from? Or straight washed or whatever.
Well, the thing is that, it's kind of ridiculous. Maybe it just sounded better.
I don't know, but the guy had to be in his 30s. And I was just like, okay.
Please, I don't trust anybody with any information under the age of 50, okay?
All right, then you can believe everything that I say.
Well, now I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that just threw me. I was like, what history book did you read, dude? Because that is so out there. Anyway. Today's affirmation.
Don't listen to people under the age of 50.
That's a good one, actually. We'll write that in our own calendar of affirmation.
Okay.
All right. Deep breath in. I live in a safe and secure world, so I move through it fearlessly. Except when I'm at a school or work or a concert or although one of the safest places in the world is probably a Republican convention because they won't let guns in.
Right.
Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about some birthdays. We've got lots of them coming up. I just know we do. Happy birthday, Will and Peter, and that Melissa. She is from the podcast where they talk about dead celebrities, which I always forget the name of it. Anyway, but it's a wonderful podcast. I loved it. Also, we want to send out happy birthdays to author Jay Northcote, author A.M. Rollerson, Melissa, comedian Melissa McGillicuddy. Now, have you seen her? She's local. I don't know if you've seen her at the stand-up thing. Really good. I did a little piece on her recently. Also,
is McGillicuddy her real last name? Or did she take it because of Lucy?
Yeah, see, I think it was because of humor, the McGillicuddy. It's funny. It's a funny name, Lucy McGillicuddy.
Remember, Lucy was Lucy McGillicuddy.
It was the funniest last name. Anyway, I don't know, but either way, it works.
Must be a really interesting article when you don't even question the name.
No, it was a promo piece. It was 35 words.
Oh, okay.
Article, yeah.
Then I'm okay.
Yeah. Also, Nickel. Yeah, we'll go with that. Star Hargrove. Oh my stars and garters! My mom, her birthday is on Thursday. I'm so excited. And also, you know who else's birthday is on my mom's birthday? TJ Zombie Girl.
She's retiring in just a
141 days.
yes.
It's amazing.
So
Also,
get your guests ready.
yes, and probably gift cards to like not thrift stores, what do you call them? Craft stores, so she can keep making her costumes. Also, Alfredo. Oh my goodness, another one. That Edward from formerly of the It's All About Me podcast, but now runs the Breaking Bad store in Albuquerque. Yes. Anyway, his birthday is also on my mother's birthday, but in my birth year. Oh my goodness, that bitch is old. Oh, no, I'm sorry, excuse me. Also to happy birthday to Max, Kevin, Gail, Sammy, Joe, Christopher, Brian, and June. Interesting. A woman named June, born in June.
Well, that took a lot of creativity.
Oh, well, I didn't do it. Anyway. All right. In our feedback today, Sean wrote in and said, accusing a disabled person of faking their disability is terrible. No one should ever do that. I completely agree.
Wait, did we do that? Did we say so?
No, that was to our to the advice column a couple shows.
Oh, okay. Right.
And then he also adds, I think the word Matt was trying to conjure, doing something every day, is discipline. And you're correct. That was the word I was looking for. If so, I have a lot of trouble with that too. It happens. It happens to the best of us. It does. So I'd like to send some chub hugs out to my buddy Clint, one of our patrons of the show. That poor boy has had COVID for over a week and is going absolutely insanely out of his mind, stir crazy, to the point of, well, I took him a care package yesterday and it was so sad. It was just so sad. Anyway, you know you watched the Dumbledore movie, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you know the little creature, not the one who got killed, but the twin of the creature. You know, the one that can like show the most innocent, how it's so cute and just doe-eyed and everything. That's what he looked like, standing there, not able to come give me a hug or anything. He just looked like this little creature, so cute. Anyway, so chub hugs out to him. How about you?
Yes, I've got a chub hug going out to a close personal friend of mine who last night became an EGOT winner.
Yay!
Yeah. Jennifer Hudson.
I was gonna say, but I thought maybe you should say it.
Okay. Yeah, she won it for being one of the producers of last night's best musical, The Strange Loop. So she had already won a Grammy for her album, pop album that she had.
Yeah.
I think it was pop, maybe it was R&B, I don't know. Anyway, she won a Grammy for her album. She won a Grammy for Dreamgirls. She won an Emmy, an Oscar for Dreamgirls. She won a Emmy for a little show that she produced. It was a children's interactive cartoon that she also produced and starred in, and then last night producing the Broadway musical of the year, Strange Loop. So that's very exciting, and she's the youngest woman to ever hit it. So
that's very, very cool.
But I think it's what I love is how many people. By the way, RuPaul was also one of the producers on the musical, so he also won a Tony last night.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah. So, but what I love is people, it reminds me of Ephraim Levi from Hello Dolly. You know, Ephraim always liked to lay manure out to make new things grow, and manure for him was money. He'd lay money out so that new things could grow, and I love that when these performers put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree with you. I was just looking it up, and we need to get Cyndi Lauper an Oscar because she deserves to be an EGOT winner.
That's true.
She's got 2 Grammys, an Emmy, and a Tony.
Well, you know what she needs to do is she needs to write a song with Lin-Manuel Miranda,
Yeah,
so that they can both become EGOT winners at the same time.
that would be good.
Yeah,
That's one thing. Even though I have said before, I am not a huge fan of Lin-Manuel on screen. He is extremely talented, and I just, especially like Encanto, just lyrically amazing talent.
what about Mulan? No, not Mulan. Damn it.
Mo, 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 mo.
Yeah, the one about
Well,
Maui.
Moana.
Moana.
I have not seen that yet.
Oh, it's so good. What do you mean you haven't seen
I
it?
know it's so weird, but I just have not sat down to watch that yet. Although I will say, one of the most amazing movies that he has done was Mary Poppins Returns. And yes, I am lying because that was a piece of shit. Sorry, it just was.
That wasn't his fault. He was only starring in it.
Yeah, I don't know what went wrong there. I mean, they had a great cast, they had some good elements, but wow, did it just, yeah, not go well. I thought there was something else I was gonna bring up to you.
Oh, Justin Bieber?
No, but why don't you talk about that?
Well, that he's got, I'm trying to remember, it's something Hunt's disease.
Yeah.
Ramsay Hunt's disease. And it's interesting because it has the same symptoms as Bell's palsy, which is what I got. It has the exact same symptoms, but Bell's palsy is caused by an infection or basically, it's an infection that affects the nerve that goes through your inner ear. But with his, he had shingles in his neck.
Wow.
That went in and did the same thing. And basically what it does is when the nerve gets infected, it swells to protect it. And then in the inner ear, the hole that the nerve's going through is just the size of the nerve. So when it swells, it crimps the nerve. And that's why he can't blink, he can't smile. That's why he's lost hearing in his ear. Now, this could all be temporary. I'm not sure how it is with Ramsay Hunt, what the recovery rate is. I can tell you that with Bell's palsy, the full recovery rate is not good. You always have like residual, I've lost hearing, I've lost, I can't, the eye doesn't work great. I can't smile, but, I can still function through life without, I don't have the facial droop like you get from that. And he doesn't have too much of that, which is lucky. But the thing is, afterwards, I could still go back and do what I do for a living. If he's lost hearing and if it's permanent, and if he can't move his mouth, he might not be able to sing very well either. So,
right.
That's kind of scary.
Good thing he's
he's worth like $400 million. So
yeah.
He's not going to starve, but I'm just thinking all those poor girls out there that are still in love with him. He's 38 now. Did you realize that?
What?
Yeah, he was born in 84.
I did not know that he
I know, it's
that old. Wow. I might have to lift my anyway. He's still under 50, so I can't trust.
Too many neck tat.
If treated early enough, it is. They can.
Oh, sure. That's what they say.
Yeah, exactly. But
But see, so the
I'm
difference,
sure he'll be fine.
I mean, the thing is that the infection goes away pretty quickly, but it's bringing the swelling down and hope that no nerve damage is permanent.
Right.
So we'll see. I mean, we'll see it. I mean, I didn't get movement back in my face for 5 months
Yeah.
when it first happened. It happened in September, and I was on a plane coming back from New York, I think. Yeah. Coming back from no. I was on a plane and I started feeling things in my face. So it was like maybe the pressurized thing did something. But yeah, so we'll hope for the best for him. So
Yeah,
let's throw some chub hugs out for him as well.
okay, that works.
Yeah.
Our one of our sweet gallery owner friends and member of the drag community just had Bell palsy relapse. Yeah, but it seems to be doing better.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, let's talk some queer headlines. Rebel Wilson comes out during Pride Month. I found my Disney princess, she says.
Well, she has to do something because no one recognizes her anymore.
I know, right?
And so
yeah,
so she's suffering the Jonah Hill thing, which is you lose the weight, you're not funny anymore.
Yeah.
And you're not recognized. You know, I mean, actors, their face is everything. Look at what happened to okay, it's Dirty Dancing. It was the girl from Dirty Dancing.
Jennifer Grey.
Yes, Jennifer Grey. She, after Dirty Dancing, she had to get a nose job. I think there was some, they said, well, it's not like it was something we wanted to do. It was something that had to be done. Sure. And then afterwards, no one knew who she was.
Yeah.
Because she didn't look like Jennifer Grey anymore. And it took her a long time to get her career going again, where I know she's on some show now. It's probably like Grey's Anatomy because everybody seems to be on that.
Yeah.
But
sure.
It took her a long time to get back into that. And it's like, you can't, your face is your life in acting.
Yeah.
And if you're no longer recognized, that's why they gave Barry Manilow and Joan Rivers and some of the other people who got facial, cosmetic surgery, they gave them such shit, was because they looked like cartoonish versions of themselves. But thank God they still looked somewhat like themselves.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's not a good thing to do.
Yeah, there's somebody that I saw quite recently, and I wish I could remember who it was, but they were older, but they weren't older, but they just continually look surprised. It's like they took this part of their eye and just pulled it up.
Yeah.
And so they're just, I don't know, like, why do you do it? Anyway.
Well,
anyway, we know why.
If you had droopy eyelids, I could see maybe doing that.
Oh yeah.
If there's, but if it's just to try to keep ahead of the game, it's funny because Kelly McGillis, who was in Top Gun, the love interest in Top Gun, lesbian, they asked her, they said, "Hey, how come you're not in the sequel?" And she goes, "Because I'm fat and old." It's like, that's exactly why. Let's not, beat around the bush. I'm fat and old, and I don't need to be in a movie like that. And they don't need me to be in that movie.
Right,
so,
exactly.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Not against Tom Cruise, who, has had enough nip and tuck to...
I think they put him in water at night. Like they have on the Star Wars shows. Yeah, and it corrects everything.
I think so. All right, Christian pastor calls for every gay person to be lined up and shot in the back of the head. No, that's not Nazi at all. Bangkok Pride takes over Thailand with its first parade in over a decade. Nice. MAGA congressional candidate promises to, quote, start executing people, unquote, who support LGBTQ youth. Queer as Folk reboot brings long overdue diversity to the iconic series. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. And then finally, trans teen needed help from the hospital after an attempt to commit suicide. Instead, they reported his parent. They reported his parents. A 16-year-old transgender boy named Antonio tried to kill himself the same day Greg Abbott ordered that parents of trans kids be investigated for child abuse. He was admitted, but when the hospital staff learned he had hormone therapy, they were forced to turn in his family. Nazi. Anyway. What?
Did you hear what happened? I guess you didn't because you don't have it here. But Saturday, a U-Haul truck was pulled over in, I think it was, it wasn't Iowa? I think it was Iowa.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, and so, and it was filled with these Nazis who were dressed in riot gear, heading to a pride parade in some small town in Iowa.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
31 members of the White Nationalist Patriot Front arrested near an Iowa pride event. Yep.
Which is fucking scary.
Yeah.
Now, this is the kind of stuff that gets my mother-in-law calling us up going, they're coming after the gays, Yeah. So I don't, I'm glad that I didn't get the call, but believe me, after what was sad was yesterday was the 5th or 6th anniversary of Pulse.
Yeah.
The Pulse attack, which took place during Pride as well. So we should keep an eye open and watch what's going on, because fortunately somebody at the motel that all these people were staying at called up the police and said, I just saw a U-Haul truck filled with guys with masks on, and they just left this hotel. I don't know where they're going, but they're in this U-Haul truck, and this is what the license plate was, and that's why they got pulled over, because somebody saw it and reported it. And it doesn't hurt, if you're not you can give, it's not a false false, you're not giving false report, you're just not sure, so you're reporting what you saw and let them decide what to do about it. But yeah, it was yuck.
They're just, I don't know, it's just disgusting.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. Anyway, all right, well, enough about that. Let's get into some good stuff Tom wants to talk to you about.
Well, let's see. I finished Girls 5 Eva season finale for the second season. And, the thing is, honestly, there are not enough episodes to really have an arc. I mean, they did have an arc. The whole idea was they were trying to get their first album out and then get ready for the tour that was going to follow right afterwards. And so, and that arc did get fulfilled, but it just seemed so quick and so short, and they were focusing on other things. So the arc was just kind of there while they were dealing with their own life stuff, which is a bit normal, but it just felt really fast and kind of incomplete. Still funny, and entertaining, but it's like, with these shows, I understand the 8 and 10 episodes, but what I loved about Orville.
Oh yes.
Is that their shows are over an hour. The episodes have been over an hour.
Yeah.
Because of what I've been saying for years is that it's streaming. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be 22 minutes if it's a half hour and 44 minutes if it's an hour-long episode. It can be as long as you fucking want it to be. You know, don't cut back on your storyline to not to fill a box.
Right.
You know, you could go past that.
Right.
So on RuPaul this week, the All-Stars had to give graduation speeches, but they were supposed to be funny, deal with something, you know, basically something funny but inspirational.
Okay.
So the funny thing was that as much as you were, you know, somebody always is terrible, they were all really quite good. So it's just that's one thing that we've been finding in the All-Stars is that they're All-Stars for a reason. You know, I mean, these people are working constantly. So these aren't girls just being pulled from clubs around the country. These are people who have tours and have, you know, pre-done characters and skits, you know, that they've done on their acts. And it really shows. It really shows. And the two winners ended up being Raja and Jinx Monsoon again. This is Jinx's third win.
Yeah.
And you could tell, I mentioned it last week, that Rue really likes her, and I'm thinking it's what she sees in her is just a professional queen who's not just out there to sell a dress, you know, or lip sync a song, because she can sing all her own stuff as well in character. So she's really kind of frightening, and she can actually dance for a big girl, you know. And the song that they had at the end, you get the two top winners do a lip sync, and it was for Lizzo. And it's like, okay, you know what? You can't say I can't dance to this because I'm too fat, because Lizzo does, so you have to. And she and Jinx ended up winning the week. So, you know, you get your legendary legend star, but you also get 10 grand if you win the week, and the chance to block somebody from getting their legendary legend star. So anyway, it's just, they have been excellent. It's only on Paramount Plus, and then followed by the Untucked, which is also the Untucked has been really good because they are basically not yelling at each other. It's always it's very friendly. You see who, you know, where the friendships are, and how, I mean, there's a little bit of, you know, maneuvering, but it's not no one's trying to get take the focus like they normally do, because, you know, the villain always tries to take focus, and in these reality shows, and there really isn't one, you know. So that's been fun. Trixie Motel, I forced you to watch it. Now, did you watch all 3 episodes?
Yes.
Okay. And I know you were saying you felt it was unreal.
The first episode left me like, wow, this is scripted, phoned in. Like, it was bad. And I mean, I've seen, obviously we've all seen bad not intro, what is it, pilot videos, you know, whatever. This was bad, man. I was ready to turn it off, but I was like, for you, I watched the other 2 episodes and it got much better. And I love the guest stars it had on it. If you want me to wait and talk about it in my week, you go ahead.
Well, whichever you want to do.
I felt like they were trying to make every room so individual, but it was the same thing just in every room, but with these busy designs. Now, that isn't to say that it's bad. I thought they did a decent job with everything, especially these tiny little hotel rooms. But I kind of there were things like the license and the painting and the things that went wrong or they had issues with that I was like, well, see, there's your drama. Explore a little bit that a little bit more. But I love the guest stars, and I've always liked Trixie. You know, even though out of drag, she does look like an adult Caillou. But you know, so what? Her husband's adorable. So I'm definitely in to finish watching it.
Yeah, well, for me, it's just, I think I mean, it's meant to be silly. There's another reality show that I'm watching, and I'm trying to think of which one it is because I don't think I have it written down, where it is so, it's trying so hard to be funny and to give meat to the to the what they're doing.
Mhm.
But it can be really hard if it's not huge problems. You know what? Try to get a liquor license anywhere in California is going to be
Uh-huh.
and then it's like, dealing with the neighbors. Well, yeah, you're going to have to deal with the neighbors because you're planning on having huge parties in that little area.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they going to park?
Right.
And how about the people that stay there? I'm thinking, I don't want every day to be a fucking a gay cruise pool party right outside my door.
Well, I think the people that are going to stay there are going to be fine with that. But that is a good question. Like, where is the parking around there?
Right. And well, and I also looked into the actual hotel. By the way, when they get the pool all done, it's fantastic.
Good.
Because that was in their advertising, of course.
Huh?
But what do you think the price per night is on the
750.
on the small room? What?
Oh, on the small room, five, 500.
550.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. A good 150. I'm like, that's still pushing it for me.
Sure. I mean,
But
and
550?
and there's not even a TV.
What? They didn't even put in television?
Did you see a TV? I didn't.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah.
But
I
of
think that
course,
people are going to have Wi-Fi and have the computer or something. But
right. I mean, that's always I always have my iPad and or my computer with me on vacation
right,
just for that reason. But
yeah,
it's
I'm
it's
used
just
to a television.
it's just weird not having television, so you can't even get the news, the local television stations. So that's kind of strange. But then, should you, I mean, here you are in Trixie Motel, should
Hmm.
you really be watching television? It's like, well, that's what I do on my vacation. So yeah, I live my life that I have at home in some glamorous
Away.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But I'll definitely continue watching it, and
sure.
yeah, I don't want to overly diss it because it is camp. It is meant to be fun, and it was. But that first issue, the first episode, just was so flat. It just really put me off.
See, now it just turned us on to the rest of
Okay.
the episode. So yeah, I think it's just one of those things where you're going, when you get these kind of shows, they're going to be very staged and very scripted, even though they're reality television.
Right. Yeah.
And it almost doesn't feel real because of it. So um let's see, enjoying the Obi-Wan on Disney Plus. By the way, Trixie Motel is available only on Discovery Plus.
Nice.
So Shining Vale, which is the Courtney Cox show that's on Stars, finished the first season, and it was it's a lot of fun. It's a horror comedy with some drama in there, but I don't know, when it's horror comedy, even though you have drama, I mean, you have to have drama like dead bodies and that kind of thing, but
Yeah.
nothing that's overly disgusting like in The Boys,
Yeah.
which the last episode of The Boys had full scenes of uh, dildos being used as
Hero.
knives,
Hero themed dildos.
yes, yeah, shoved any hole that would support it, and not the ones that normally would take it.
And
It was just, the whole show is so gory. I
yeah.
love it. I love it. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's hilarious. But I know that there's people out there that are going, why does it have to be so gross?
I'm one of them.
Yeah. So still fun for me. We finally started watching Barry last week, which is HBO. And it's such a good show. I mean, it's doesn't have many episodes. I think it's 8 episodes a season, so it's really in and out fast. But since we've got 3 seasons available to us, we're going through them pretty quickly, so it doesn't feel like Girls Five Eva felt for me, because I keep watching and I keep watching, and even though we're at season finale, it doesn't matter. I've got season 2 to start. I got season 3 to start. But I think this would have been another show that there's not enough episodes to really fulfill what I feel is a season.
Okay.
Okay. Still really good, really funny. I'm looking forward to more of it. On the Orville this week, we had Demons, which I thought was an interesting concept with what they did. I'm not going to go into the whole storyline, but basically they get an opportunity to go where no humans have gone before, into an area that has been cut off by the krill, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the krill goes, don't go in there.
Yeah.
Some serious shit in there. You don't want to go in there. There's demons. And then what they find is something that, I guess we look at something, we call them monsters, even though they are aliens, could be monsters, but they're just, that's what those people look like.
Yeah.
And how they deal and do their shit. So it was as always, they're just interesting episodes. There's a new show on Netflix. It's Bill Barr. It's like, we thought it was going to be a stand-up for Bill Barr, but it's actually Bill Barr and a bunch of other stand-ups that come in, and they do a lot of, and there's a lot of offensive stuff in there. So I say, go in there with a thicker skin, don't go in there. They insult everybody, at least they're insulting everybody.
Now, is it Bill Burr?
Bill Burr, yes.
Okay.
Barr, okay.
Yeah, just checking.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like I said, there's a lot of jokes that don't work, and that go bad, and there's some comedians on there that are terrific, but it's really it's not a favorite stand-up show for me, but I was grateful to see more than just him performing.
Yeah.
So even though I wasn't really happy with the entire outcome, this week I saw No Time to Die, which is the new Bond, which is available, I think, exclusively right now on Prime.
Really? I thought I saw it on Netflix.
No.
Okay.
And it is long as fuck. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
They were never that interesting.
Right. So yeah, I will warn everyone on that. They're long, or it's long. But I mean, it's James Bond. I never was really into Bond, but it's James Bond. But they had an ending. That's all I'll tell you. There's an ending to this, and not your regular Bond ending. So give that a looky. Let's see. Evil just started on Paramount Plus. That's my favorite, where a group of they're not religious people, but a group that's been hired by the Catholic Church goes in and tries to find out things that are going on that they suspect is being done by demons or evil or whatever you want to call it. So, and guess what? It is. There's demons and there's awful, evil people, and it's super fun, super fun. And then last night was the Tony Awards, which we had kind of grazed over with the Jennifer Hudson announcement. But it was a really good show, as the Tonys always are. It was great musical numbers, a lot of new, not a lot of new songs, but a couple new performances, new songs that they did that were written especially for the show. They had geez, it was just really, really good. It was so much fun. And I would suggest anyone that has the opportunity to go to, I'm sure Paramount Plus will probably have it, but if not, YouTube probably has it as well. The whole show. There was a lot of queer winners.
Nice.
They had one of the supporting actresses in a musical was the first trans actor to be nominated for a Tony. The creator of the musical of the year, The Strange Loop, is a queer man that has been, as he says, writing this musical since he was 25, and now he's 40, and he's old as fuck. It was delightful seeing all these people, a lot of people of color. I think they said 6 out of the 10 new shows nominated were written by Black people.
Nice.
And a lot of queer people that wrote as well. And I love the fact that the Tonys are finally doing what I thought they should have been doing for years, and that is catering to the people who actually follow the Tonys, who follow Broadway, who go to Broadway shows, and make shows for those people. Because why are you making shows for people who don't go and see live theater? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Make shows for us, the people who love live theater, who love musicals, who can't get enough of a good drama on stage that leaves you chilled in the car as you're leaving. It's just like, oh my God, I can't believe that that's that is, I love that kind of shit. And that's, I'm just glad that that's where they're really focusing, and I think it's going to make a big difference to the Broadway community, because they're losing people because they're writing shows for Republicans who don't go anyway, or those kind of issues. We don't care about those issues. We want singing, we want dancing, and glitter. It's
Yes. Yeah, I want bigger than life.
right. And my screen is acting up. Okay, well, we're just gonna start it again.
Okay.
And see if it stops acting up. No, that's not the right one. Okay, there we go. And yeah, that's it for me, pretty much.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you.
And if there's anything more, I'll throw it out there.
Okay. Yeah. Seriously, if I were to go to a Broadway show, I'm not going to be the one sitting there seeing Our Town. I want to see something that's going to be just over the fucking top, like just takes your breath away.
Right, razzle dazzle.
Yeah. Okay, well, I did watch I am caught up with season 4 episodes of The Boys, as they are. And yes, the hero themed dildo as weapons thing was it was funny. The concept was funny, but there is a level of to it, but the characters in the story are enough that I just push through, and because
the violence is something you have to get through.
Yeah, but they've established that that's just part of the show at this point, so there's no point in being like, oh my God, you just expect that it's going to happen.
Right.
But you least expect it, usually. I was sad that they killed off one of the characters. Since it hasn't even been out a week, I won't say who in case somebody hasn't watched it yet, but it was a character I was hoping to see more of, a lot more of.
Yeah, I was surprised as well.
Yeah. And I loved the gratuitous male butt nudity. That's one of the things I always liked about this show was they didn't have any problem showing some butt. But they need to show more of the deeps. Deep. Oh, I read an article about that saying that he was too hung to be used. They had to cut the scene of his frontal. So sad. So sad. Anyway, but the story actually is pretty good too. And Homelander makes a really good villain. I mean, they really make him like I'm looking forward to the day they take him out kind of villain. Yeah. And they better do it epic. They better make it epic.
he's been, the villain the whole time. But
Yeah.
last season he was kind of held back by the Nazi girl.
Right.
And so once she's gone, now he can gear up his bad guyness again. But what a good role for this actor.
Yeah.
It really is. And if you look at pictures of him, he doesn't look like Homelander at all. It's kind of striking because I wouldn't recognize him if he was at the table I was having dinner at. I wouldn't go, oh, you're Homelander.
Yeah. In fact, I found another movie on Netflix that I've been wanting to watch, and I was watching the preview of it. I'm like, God, that guy looks familiar. And then I realized it was him. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I watched episode 1 of Miss Marvel, which is on Disney right now, and it is really good.
Totally cute.
They did a great job. I mean, it's a coming of age, and she makes a costume. She's a huge Marvel fan. She finds something that ends up giving her powers, and
it was her grandmother's.
Yeah, and it goes from there. It was really well done. The characters, in episode 1, the characters are fleshed out, well developed. You're emotionally into it. The graphics, the way that they did the scene splitting and stuff like that, even her little partner boy and everything, it was really good. And of course, the next day I see that there's a Facebook group with over 21,000 people, Christians against Miss Marvel, because the character and the family is Muslim. And I just like, son of a bitch, you people. She's like a 16-year-old girl. I don't know if the actress may be 17, 18. She seems like she's 16.
Right.
But I'm like, you fucking fuckers, what? So I am totally into the show and looking forward to it blowing me away every week.
Yes, everybody watch it, make it a big hit.
Yes. Yeah.
So we get more.
I did finish Moon Knight. I purged through those last 4 episodes. It was okay. I mean, I was invested enough to watch it, but if it never comes back, I don't care.
Yeah, I liked the last episode because it reminded me of Ultraman.
Yeah, actually,
which was kind of fun, but it took a ways to get there. It was a trip. It
seriously was, and it was not all that fun trip. Now the action sequences, like when they were in the truck and stuff like that, and they kept blinking back and forth between the personalities and stuff, that was kind of fun. The action stuff was fun, but and then they had an entire episode that was dedicated to who he really is and all that, and that psychologically was interesting, but at the same time, whatever. But kudos that they did the show, because again, here's a diverse character, I'm sure they hated him for that.
Right.
Egyptian stuff. Oh dear. Then I did watch Orville New Horizons, and the only thing that I will add to what you said, and I don't think it's a spoiler because we're not saying actually what happened, but I will say in the end, these fuckers lost like most of their engineering crew. They lost like probably 20 people off of a crew of like several hundred, and they just go lottie-dying off into something else. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, I didn't even know. I was just like, whatever, like no process or anything. Just like, oh well, all these people we worked with, how are you going to run the ship?
Okay.
I guess
Before
the
you start
auxiliary
getting
crew.
okay, off the soapbox, because
Okay.
how many times did they lose half the crew on Star Trek during
In the
during
old,
a
yeah,
big attack? They don't even mention that they've lost people, and they had to, because oh well, 1/4 of the ship lost air, so all those people are dead. That kind of stuff. But that's the thing I like about the Orville, is that they are it just feels different from the Star Trek shows.
oh yeah.
Different in the sense is because my thing was, what do you do on that fucking ship all day long?
Mhm.
There's a common area. Okay, so they can get drinks on, they can go and have dinner, someplace, instead of just eating in your room, because that's what, I mean, Captain Kirk never ventured out unless he went out to work out at times. And thankfully they brought in the that room that on Next Generation, that they could go, experience things that they wanted to. Never can remember the name of that room. But
The
anyway,
the holodeck.
holodeck. So that kind of gave it something to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like, oh my God, all they can do really is sleep, jack off in their room and then go work.
Read, sit at
And
their
look,
sit at their
and look
console in their room and watch a computer, watch a
and that's the
movie
thing.
from 300 years
Look,
ago.
I know they're watching movies on Orville.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to watch a movie with my kids, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it just feels. I like it because it feels more real. Not to say I didn't love Star Trek, which I did, but it's just this offers. There's a difference, and I
Well,
appreciate that they're just not trying to copy Star Trek.
yeah, absolutely. And I I really like Orville, even though they're a little bit more serious with the New Horizons show so far. I still They are great, and I love it. The other thing is they are turning the character of the doctor's oldest son, who was the huge problem child last season as well, and they're making him even more of a fucking asshole. He is another damn Wesley Crusher, except he's not as smart. Ship him home. We're done with him. He is. How many times has he about gotten his brother killed with all this stuff because he just doesn't fucking listen? Anyway, and I'm not blaming the actor, I'm blaming the
I know.
writers on this. They are making him into a character you don't want to see come on screen.
Yeah, but like, once again, you need conflict amongst the cast,
Conflict
and
is
not.
fine, but continually making one character the complete fuck up that everybody has to go out of their way to fucking save, it makes viewers resent that character.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Um okay. So then I've also, Heather was here again, so we got to watch another Star Trek Strange New Worlds, episode 3. And this is the one where they they went down to a planet and then found out there was a virus, and then anyway, blah blah blah. No spoilers, although it's been out a little bit. And it's really good. It's just really good. I am very much enjoying. It's kind of like the Orville. They're like the kind of one and done episodes. Oh, we're going on an adventure. Oh, this problem happened. Let's solve the problem and then move on. And it's so nice to see the knowing I'm going to be stuck in a 13 episode arc of what the fuck is going on. Anyway, then we watched Trixie Motel, talked about that. Here's another one. So I watched a show on Disney called Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion. It's another, it's not a Marvel, but it's a superhero one. Teen coming of age. And basically, Violet Rodriguez is an everyday Mexican-American teen, is chosen by magical luchador mask, which transforms her into Ultraviolet, a superhero fighting crime alongside her luchador uncle Cruz, who, by the way, really hot. And he's also known as the Black Scorpion. It is a very watered down version of the Miss Marvel. I really don't want to compare them, but it's kind of the same age group, coming of age type thing. And it is very heavy on the Mexican American culture, which is good to see. And they really talked about the whole luchador thing, which I'm probably butchering, is their wrestling culture and the forces between like good and evil and blah, blah, blah. So the first few episodes, I was like, oh God, this is definitely aimed toward 12-year-olds. But then like the writing got better, the characters got more developed. And yes, it still had a cutesy little teeny bop vibe, but it became more interesting for adults as well. So if you're just bored, you want a fun little show after watching the latest Miss Marvel, check it out. Give it a thing. Obi-Wan, caught up on Obi-Wan. Did you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm loving it. Totally loving it. Totally into it.
And there's people who aren't, and I don't get it.
They're fucking. I mean, if I guess not everything's for everything, but I have come to the conclusion that Star Wars fans hate everything that's not the original 3 films. They just have to hate it, and that's part of their fandom. I don't understand why, but whatever. So
yeah, and they definitely don't like Star Trek either. So that's the other thing.
Oh yeah, and that's true too. I don't get it. It's just like you're closing yourself off to so much, and you're not impressing anybody. But Obi-Wan is really good. It's a really good show. And once again, the actress that plays third sister, the black, she's not a Sith. They don't call him that but she's Darth Vader's underling.
Right.
She is getting all sorts of hate, racial hate online.
And why?
No fucking clue.
Is it they don't like her, or
I'm wondering if it really is people who cannot fucking separate characters from actors. I don't know, but they are just throwing every racial character, hatred, everything at her, to the point where I would be surprised if she wants to continue with the show.
I mean, do you think it's because she's black? Is it that?
Yeah.
Is that the reason? But I mean, Darth Vader was voiced by a black actor.
I would be surprised if many of them even know that.
Okay.
But and then after that, I ended up reading an article. You remember Cho Chang from the Harry Potter films? She ended up having the same things happening to her, but the studio told her to cover it up until the films were done because it might hurt the franchise. But she got tons of racial hatred and shit when she did the movies.
So this is just this is a small group of people who don't want any people of color or sexuality or any kind of difference.
Yes. I don't even know. Maybe
it's all about the white people.
Yeah. So maybe some of them are Russian bots. I don't fucking know. All I know is I'm hearing more about this stuff, and it's really assholistically ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
And then finally, I watched The Adam Project, which is the Netflix movie with Oh, honey, Ryan Reynolds, who I think is looking so fly, so good in this film. I was just like, "Hello, Daddy," and your personal friend Mark Ruffalo,
Right.
he
Which,
was in it.
yeah, both of them are on my top 5 list. And so,
Your
yeah,
free pass.
anytime you get more than one of your favorite at the same time, it's just like, you put a little blanket over your lap and try to keep between.
Uh, and it was definitely worth it. Uh, okay, Jackson is in the room and desperately wants to be let out because he can't stand closed doors, but he'll just have to wait. Anyway, it it was great. This could have been a theater release.
Well,
It was that good.
no, it was, I mean, that's what Netflix is doing right now, is they're making theater worthy films that you can see on Netflix. And I mean, yes, this could easily have been a big hit. Same thing, I mean, look, the Free Guy that went out, Free Guy,
Yes, I haven't watched it yet, but
yeah,
yes,
that went out to theaters. This is just as good.
yeah.
And
I was totally. It was one of those where I thought I'd probably put it on and then be doing something else. I sat and watched the whole thing all the way through. It was really good. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend you see it. Let's go ahead and we want to remind you to be loud, be proud, be too much, and to be you. That Marker Clothing wants those of us who've been told we are too much of something to turn those negatives into positives. Chubs Gone Wild listeners, you can do that by using the code FMWildChub to get 20% off while ordering anything over at thatmarkerclothing.com. And we also want to congratulate our boy, Julian, from Fat Marker, who was selected as one of the grand pride one of the grand marshals at their pride.
that's very exciting.
Very, very cool. All right, so we do have a little bit of a lengthy advice, so let's go ahead and jump into that. I am a gay man in my 30s. I've been out for a long time. Yeah, right. I've been out for a long time, and my family is very chill. My boyfriend Brian grew up as in a fundamentalist home, and when he came out, there was violence and lectures and about shame and Bible quotes. They basically only stopped short of cutting him out of the family. His parents are the biggest figures here, but his disabled brother relies on them financially and toes the line. They forbid Brian from telling the extended family. He could still, but he says it's not worth it. Even though they made it clear that they won't give it, it feels like Brian can't stop auditioning for their approval. He calls them about twice a month. He and his profession and tells them about his professional accomplishments, advanced degree, the passionate volunteer work and they're all met with polite disinterest. He told me about them, or he told them about me, and was met with complete silence. The fact that he enthusiastically shared with me was that it was an upgrade from the way they treated his other boyfriends. I don't need these people to like me. I know if he looks for that, he won't get it. I don't know what to say when he shares these updates with me. And it's so painful to see him try to get them to love him or take an interest in his life. What can I say in the moment when these things come up? And how can I help him find the right kind of therapist to tackle this? He's talked about being interested in therapy before, but discarded therapists because he felt like they didn't understand his family. This is complicated by the fact that that I think his family is terrible, which I've never said out loud before, but I'm sure he knows. Advice.
Um, it's really hard to give advice to people who I don't know. I
Still
can't
try.
relate to. I can't relate to the situation. But I mean, I would say if they don't want you in their life the way you are, then don't be.
Yeah.
Don't try. After a while, they'll either come around when they realize that this is going to change, or just you got to block them, just send Christmas cards, send birthday card. Don't do the phone call anymore.
Yeah.
Just stop looking for approval from people who are
Treating you like shit.
who don't want to approve of your life at all, or anything that you've decided to do on your own outside of what they think is good.
Yeah.
You're never gonna it's going to take years to break these people down. And believe me, the gay male in his 30s, if boyfriend Brian is not going to change and this is going to haunt him, then you might want to look for somebody different, because this is going to be a major issue for the rest of your guys' life together. Is him and his parents. And if he can't shake that, well, they're my family, well, then,
your family are thinking that if they freeze you out long enough that you'll say, oh, I'm sorry, and marry a woman.
Yes, exactly. So I'd say block them for the, or just do less and less and less and less until it doesn't bother you as much anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're giving advice to the boyfriend, and especially about the therapy. If he's willing to go to therapy, he's probably going to reject any therapist who's going to say, you need to let your family be and shut them out. But you just got to let him go. He's just going to keep hurting himself, bumping against that brick wall,
right,
until finally he has some sort of epiphany and grows up and says, fuck you, I don't need you then. So there's really nothing you can do. But I will say the one thing that I think that you shouldn't do is shit all over the parents anytime he brings them up, because that's just going to drive a wedge between you guys and make it worse.
Oh,
I know I would be why do you even deal with them? But I swear if you do that, it's not going to go well. Anyway, well, let's see what Dear Prudy had to say. Slate.com, go check them out. It can be hard to find therapists who understand the complexities of fundamentalist upbringings, particularly therapists who also have competencies in working with the LGBTQ plus people. But it can be done. Try looking for queer therapists who have also worked with religious communities or people of faith, people who can speak the language that your boyfriend's grew up speaking and the language he speaks now. Queer religious leaders sometimes offer counseling or have therapeutic training and can bridge that gap. Essentially, he needs someone who isn't going to totally dismiss his past, because it's clear that he hasn't yet dismissed it himself. He may be on a journey to letting go of expectations, but he needs to get there on his own time. As to what you should say, I think you can hold your boundary while still acknowledging that these updates mean something to him. A simple, I'm really glad that feels good for you, might work in the moment, and still leaves the door open for you to say later that you don't think he needs to chase after love from people who won't give it. But if you shut him down, when he's excited, he may stop sharing with you. You don't have to be excited too, but acknowledge that's where he is for now. That's kind of what I was saying. Anyway, so there you go. Hey, Chubs, what's your favorite Pride memory?
Favorite Pride memory. See, Pride to me was always working Pride, and not really going and just enjoying. I was always working a table for somebody, whether it was the newspaper, the Bears, or the Lambda, or even the film festival. And so I guess one of my most traumatic memories was I remember I had left this when we were in the South Park, Southland Park.
Mhm.
And it had been super hot and I was really dehydrated. And I remember I went home and I was dropped into my pool at
Mm.
the not really dropped in, but walked in the steps, sitting there on the steps, and then being told, okay, well, I've got to go and work the event tonight. So I've got to go.
Ugh.
And it's like,
Uh,
ah, ah.
uh,
But I did have a big thing of water and I was sitting in
good.
the pool and it felt so good because I was just so overheated.
Mhm.
And then I felt good that I didn't have to go and work anything that night.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
so I guess it had its pluses. So that is my favorite
Mhm.
pride memory of like horror. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, my favorite memories, a lot of them were around because I always had to work a lot of it too. And usually were the going in and the going home, and usually being with Clint. He and I would end up working separate booths or whatever, but ride together and kind of doing the whole detox afterward. And when I could finally make it up to the air conditioned department and take my shoes off, and my feet would hurt so bad. Uh, yeah, it was always nice to get that done. But yeah, as far as favorite memory of being at Pride, I think probably the first time I got to see the first year that Sacramento did an actual parade again, because we did one used to do them a long time ago. Then we just did the fair, and then when it started up again, I always get choked up at those things. So standing on the side watching everybody march and being so proud and being cheered on and stuff like that, that always just chokes me up and I get all emotional. So that's probably it when it started up again.
I hate the parade, by the way.
Why?
Because there's nowhere to sit. Everyone thinks that they should be in front of you
Oh, yeah.
because they've got kids or and it's always in the sun and it's
Yeah.
hot
Yeah.
and I do know what you're talking about because whenever you see P flag go by,
Uh-huh.
you
See, I get
always
choked up just thinking
you,
about it.
you always get
Yeah.
like a little yeah, and then there's certain other elements, some other groups that walk by, but mostly it's just like, oh god, I would enjoy this so much more if I had a chair
Uh-huh.
and I was up front where I could see.
Yeah.
As I love parades because I love waving at everybody in the because they're waving, so I wave back. I
Yeah.
wave back the whole time. I mean, my arm is sore after a good parade, but
Hey.
yeah, that's it. They're just exhausting, and I'm not even.
Yeah. I was in one once. I rode a pony. Um, but that was a long
Well,
time ago when I was a little
well,
kid.
it's funny because one year the Bears had decided we were going to get in the parade,
Mm.
and so the then president got us in a parade, rented a truck. We got some signage on it. We were, from Sacramento in a San Francisco parade, and
Mm.
I remember it very well because we got out of town contingents.
Oh,
I keep
nice.
trying to give this back to the Bears, and I never remember.
Uh,
But we won this, and then a couple years later, um, uh, Faces did a float, and
mm.
they got out of town contingents saying we're the first Sacramento group to ever get an award in the San Francisco parade. I have to tell
Big
you, they
difference.
weren't.
Yeah.
Unless you got one before that. I don't know if it's before that, but the one you got after us was not the first. So,
Right.
but that way it was good because I got to sit in the truck the whole time waving out the window.
That's nice.
Oh
That's
yeah.
pretty fun. Okay, hey Chubs, what show is your most watched show ever in your life?
What do you mean by show?
Like, okay, so my answer would be Are You Being Served? I have seen every episode of that well over 100 times, if not episodes that I've probably seen 1,000 times.
Well,
So like if you calculate every episode of it all together in one long string, that's the show that I've seen more than any other show in my life.
well, normally I don't really go back and rewatch episodes. That's weird. I thought I would when I was younger. I mean, because we would watch this the reruns during the year, because it was pretty much they ran all the new episodes and then they would start running the old episodes from the beginning, and you could rewatch the whole season.
And then
that was fine because
shows in syndication,
and that's all there was.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But recently, well, actually, in March of 2020, Sean and I started watching Big Mouth, which is on Netflix, and Cougar Town, which is on Hulu. And we would watch because remember at the beginning there was a little bunch up of television where there was no television. I mean, nothing new. People were doing the news from their apartments on Zoom, and so everything was all fucked up. Well, so once a night we were watching Big Mouth, an episode of Big Mouth and an episode of Cougar Town, and then that continued actually until about 2 weeks ago, and that was we finished both seasons again, all the seasons of the show, the complete series. So probably Cougar Town over 2 years, however many they had, like 110 episodes divided by 2 years, and then Big Mouth, which is about 50 episodes by 2 years. So yeah, we saw a lot of those.
Okay, good. And that was recent too.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Hey,
and we'll get back to them. We're going to get back to them. We're just taking a break from them, which we haven't done in years. And it's just because we got the Orville came out, and the Boys came out, and Girls Five Ever, and all these shows that once we catch up on those and there's nothing else to watch, we'll be back.
Nice. Well, hey, take a guess. Amazon's net worth. What is it?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, according to the quarter ending December 31st, 2021, Amazon's net worth was $438.118 billion.
Okay, I was going to say like 500 billion, because that's what Bezos worth. So I just didn't know that. I didn't know if they were gonna mirror each other like that, but I guess
and that's the thing is you look at that level of money and you realize that like just 6 billion of that, 6 billion, which would not even make a fucking dent, end world hunger.
Well, what's interesting, if you watch, I know you like watching John Oliver. Well, this week's episode talks about Apple, Amazon, and is it Netflix? No, it's not.
Apple, Amazon, and no, it wasn't Netflix. I just saw it this morning.
Okay, yeah. Google,
Yeah.
and how horrible and destructive these groups are. I mean, we knew that Facebook had been really bad, because I remember Facebook, anytime somebody tries to start something similar to Facebook, they either buy it out or they kill it.
Right. Yeah.
And they were doing the same thing, because I remember they had a thing where you could do like little video clips that was kind of fun, and it was new, and Facebook bought that, and then it disappeared and became Messenger. Something of Messenger, and they keep doing that kind of shit. And so it's really interesting how destructive and bullyish and domineering these big companies are, because you get a good idea, they're either going to pay you for it, they're going to steal it, or they're going to kill it.
Right.
And so many of these companies go, well, if we don't take the money, we're going to get nothing.
Right. Exactly. And that's how it just keeps happening. I am against monopolies.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I am against a very large,
Capitalism.
successful
Yeah.
corporation as long as they fucking use fair business practices. I'm perfectly happy shopping with Amazon. When I can, I try to shop, you know, smaller, more local businesses and stuff like that. But there are times I'm very thankful that Amazon's going to have their shit there the next day.
Right. I agree with you. And we've even seen it here in town where certain businesses will prevent other businesses of their type to even open up in the general vicinity. Actually, sometimes in the whole town, if they have that kind of power, and
exactly.
some do. So yeah, it's been around for a long time, but it needs to be trimmed. And if they weren't paying these fucking politicians off, the politicians would say, let's cut these things in half. I mean, look, we would probably still have what was the one before Facebook with Tom? Remember?
MySpace?
MySpace might even be around today.
Well, I think it still is around, but
but not in any kind of power
I ever hear of.
But it would have been something much bigger had Facebook not come in and kicked the shit out of it.
Yeah. Every once in a while, there was something called Ello or something like that was trying to replace Facebook for a while or trying to compete. Every once in a while, I still get an invite from that, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Oh, right. I need to cancel that. But yeah, but the thing that I don't like, and the reason that I don't like the monopolies is because right now, like with Facebook, like my books, I can within like, I mean, I can put a book up on Amazon. It'll be published within like usually about 24 hours, sometimes 48 hours. The book is there. It has helped me become a published author. But all the other companies, Facebook, et cetera, I can't get the word out about it because every time I post anything, it pushes it down in the algorithms and doesn't let anyone else see that it's there unless I pay for it. So I can put up a book for free, but then I have to spend hundreds of dollars trying to get anyone to pay attention to it.
Well, I'll warn you about that paying for it as well, because I thought when we were doing reviews, if there was a review I really thought we were doing well on, I would throw $3 at it and get it put out there, get it seen. And I kept getting them coming back going, sorry, you're bullying in your article, so we can't do this. And I go, and I'm like, saying that Tom Cruise isn't a good actor is not bullying. It's called a movie review.
Right.
And so there's a lot of that going on too. Yeah, it's hard. It really
One of the things that I would have, we would have to put together ads for Facebook marketing stuff, and it would come back with, you have too many words. What? Yes, at least 60 to 80% of your ad needs to be just a photo and only a few words. And it's like, well, then how the fuck are you going to let anyone know what the fuck you're doing? Here's a pretty picture. Click on it, and hopefully there'll be something interesting. It's just that's my anti conglomerate brand.
You are all over it. You've become a new man on what you're fighting for now. It's very interesting.
Old man. Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't say old. Don't say old.
Yeah.
You're wiser. Your balls are sagging. That's
well. Anyway, all right. Well, let's see what Mr. Moose had to put in his lunchbox this week. He started out with, this is called Imperial Garden Delight. Don't you love it when a restaurant just makes a dish and names it for the restaurant? Beef, chicken, shrimp, and vegetables in a brown garlic sauce.
It looks good.
Tasted good. more meat than vegetables, which is how I like it. It looks very good. Next up, we have barbecue pulled pork, okra, fries. Sorry, forgot to take a picture before eating some okra.
Yeah. Well, it looks like okra that I might actually eat.
Uh-huh. It does. Just
And,
like
and
the little grease stains left behind look delicious.
and I do feel bad for the 2 hush puppies that he's neglected to mention.
Oh, well, those look like kind of sad little hush puppies. Anyway,
But the
next up,
fries look good, and yeah, I mean I'm so hungry right now. I can't even tell you.
yeah, right now, oh, well, next up, I mean, we
Yeah.
have a turkey sandwich, grilled wheat bread, turkey, Swiss cheese, lettuce, tomato, and bacon with a side of fries. And those fries look really good too.
Yeah, they do.
And finally, we have shrimp tacos, seasoned grilled shrimp, lettuce, tomato, shredded cheese on flour tortillas. Mm. Hmm.
I just want the shells crispy, but otherwise that looks great.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had shrimp taco. It doesn't sound that appealing, but honestly, right now my stomach's a little full. So,
Now, have you had fish tacos?
mm, yes, I'm sure I've had one, and I actually really liked it. It was
Yeah,
a
well,
fried fish.
right. I can't imagine, even though they're not fried shrimp, I
Mhm.
still can't imagine them not being really good on a crispy flour tortilla.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've reached the end of this epic Pride edition.
Thank God.
Gone Wild.
Yay.
Yeah. Send us an email at chubsgonewild@gmail.com. Show us what's in your lunchbox or anything else you would like to show us. Leave us a comment at chubsgonewild.com, like Facebook, facebook.com/chubsgonewild. Watch our videos over at YouTube. Just go over and search Chubs Gone Wild. Please consider becoming a patron of the show over at patreon.com/Matt Burlingame. Find Tom's movie and TV reviews over at swannerandjudd.com. Find their podcasts in iTunes or on iHeartRadio. Find out more about my books over at justkisstheguy.com and check out my other podcast at biggaysexshow.com. And also give us a call at
408-69 Chubs.
Good one. All right. We thank you so much for indulging us on this show, and we hope to have you back next week. All right. Bye.
Bye.